Happy Wednesday, guys. It's Katie Taylor here with scrappinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. Today, I have another layout sketch using Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 Days of Sketches for Series 10. Hey guys, it is day 26 of the 30 Days of Sketches, and I have the sketch in front of me, so I usually like to talk about what I like about them. And right off the bat, I really find it's interesting that the photos are in the corners and then you've just got strips. So this is going to be a perfect layout if you save strips like I do to use those. And then of course the floral or the embellishment clusters around those photos. I have pulled out some old photos of my family before my brother was born. And I'm pretty sure this was Easter. Not sure what year. I'm going to have to ask my mom to verify that, but I could do some guessing. Of course, that probably would give my age. So we're not going to do that on YouTube, but I will find that out before I journal. So here's a picture of my sister and my mother and I, and then my dad and my sister and I, and then just me and my sister, which along with these photos, I found a whole bunch of me and my sister, so I can't wait to scrapbook those. And I've talked about scrapbooking actual older photos before. I prefer just to scrapbook these. I know that a lot of people like to make copies and then scrapbook the copies and save these, but since I'm pretty much the only one in my family that likes these old photos, I'm just going to go ahead and use them because I use acid-free adhesive and paper and everything like that. It's not going to damage the photos. So I'm going to pull some paper and, like I said, maybe use some scraps, or if I don't have any scraps of the paper I want to pull, then I'll just cut me some and then we can knock this layout out in a hurry. I have pulled out the Four Seasons Spring collection because I know that these photos are from Easter. I just know. I was old enough, I was probably 6 or 7, and I know I was old enough to remember that, and I remember that dress. So these colors not only are spring, but they kind of bring out the kind of pinks in the photos, and then of course the sepia tone that was prominent in so many photos those days. And then of course my mom's dress just matches perfectly to me. So I've pulled out these. Now I have not cut into this Four Seasons. Four Seasons. I've used a whole lot of the autumn, but I haven't done the spring yet. So I'm probably going to have to cut some pattern pieces. Also keeping in mind these wonderful zip strips would be perfect for that. There are a couple of strips on the sticker sheet. I just don't know, since I haven't really used this yet, I don't know if I want to use those sticker sheets for this and this alone. So I'm going to go make some decisions and go ahead and get that cut off camera and then bring it back in. I've pulled out some coordinating inks and I am just going to add some sponging around these pieces because my cardstock is just going to stay white and these kind of are pale colors. They definitely need that stark separation between the strips of paper and the White Daisy cardstock. And of course you can see, I don't know if you can see that pattern. There is a pattern, it's just subtle. And so by inking the edges, which I am on that trend lately, not gonna lie, but I love it. I've always done it. It's just gonna add that pop. And I'll show you here in just a second once I finish this, because I mean, even this is lemonade. So it is a very subtle color, but I'm gonna put the one that I haven't inked up and then this one side by side. And you can see. So can you tell the difference between those two? It's just totally different. It just adds that extra oomph, I guess. You could get the same with stitching, all of that stuff. I just don't want to bring out my sewing machine. It is late here. So when I get this done, document this memory that is so fond. And I'll explain more in the photos why it's so fond. And then, yeah, so I'm just going to do this off camera so you don't have to watch it, but it's the same process for all. I am using different inks. So sometimes you guys will see me use the same ink across all pattern paper and cardstock, which is perfectly fine. But on this particular layout, I decided to use coordinating inks on each one. So I'm going to get that done right quick, and then I will be back. So as far as my photos go, I originally had this one up top and this one just like the sketch. And the sketch is by Jan Miller, I believe. It's Jen Miller. So I originally had them like this, but then when I went to just kind of put stuff out of the way, I put them like that, and I'm kind of thinking that's what I'll do. Now, I was going to keep them whole for a couple of reasons. Number one, shortly after this photo, we moved from this house to the house that basically I grew up in, but I still have fond memories of this house, and one of the memories is this pile of wood right there, because I remember going out to the ranch with my dad, cutting down the tree, and then bringing it sometimes home full or somewhat full, and then him chopping it in our yard, or sometimes he would just chop it out at the ranch and then bring it in. But so I wanted to leave this photo whole, but then I noticed where this photo, where the majority of it is taken up by us, I still see that wood pile. So I could trim this to 3 by 4, you know, just right there. And then this one, I don't really remember this, but my mom always professes to have a brown thumb. And this goes to show, even though this is Texas, this is, you know, I guess in the cacti family, I don't know. But she definitely had some blooms. She had some flowers somewhere. So I'm tempted to leave that. If not, I will cut that down to a 3 by 4. And I may be able to get some of that. Also, I really remember this house. And this is the only one that actually shows the house in the photo. I really don't care about the street view, but it shows the house. So we might actually have 3 different sizes. I'll keep that. I'll trim that maybe a little bit past me, trim that to 3 by 4, and I may do 4 by 4 on this. So I've finished that. I may couple this with another layout. If you recall, I am trying to catch up. So I am going to actually, that other layout has like a burst. And instead of me trying to pull out my stencils, again, because it's late at night, I'm just going to use my masking tape. This is the new one from Close to My Heart, and it's really good for paper to paper. And it's not the same as the tape that I use like for my stencils to my glass mat or my die cuts. But this is really good for paper to paper. I am just going to add ink. And I'm just using regular ink. You could use Distress Oxide. I'm just going to add ink to my layout base by using this masking tape to kind of mask off a straight line. So it'll appear to be a sun ray. Hopefully this is going to work. In my mind, it's going to work. And then after I get finished with this one, I can just move it over. And we can just play that little game until the masking tape kind of gets soaked. And the majority of this down here is going to be hidden again with that photo grouping. So yeah, so see that? And then I'm just going to move it over a little bit. Now that first one, I did try to go to the corner. And so that's how I placed the first one. And then the subsequent ones over here, I'm just going to try to keep equally distanced, I guess, apart. But I'm not going to pull out a ruler or anything. I'm just going to kind of make this organic. So I am going to speed this up right quick, but you can see I'm just moving that tape and then making sure that I'm starting on the tape and then going off the tape just so I don't get any harsh lines. These blending brushes, one thing I love about them is you don't get a whole lot of harsh lines. So they're really easy to use. They're one of my favorite. This is a perfect opportunity to remind you, if you're liking what you are seeing, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. And if you aren't already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications so you won't miss more crafty videos. I'll also leave links down below to everything that I'm using. If you aren't in a position to order from those links, remember there are other ways to support me and let me know that you are inspired. By liking, commenting, and subscribing, and then also leaving me super thanks using the button below. So they don't all come to the middle, but let's see if we can kind of fix that. Oh, that was honey butter. That wasn't even lemonade. It's okay. So we've got that. I think I want my photos to go like this. I don't want to hide that much of my sister, but since she's taller, I can hide her a little bit more. And then that way I can have a little cluster going on right here. So then I feel like this is kind of blank, but I feel like once I get these stepped up, it may fill in. Or I may just go ahead and do a random one. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Let's see how light I can make it just by using the residual off of this. And I love these brushes for stencils. Close to My Heart has some wider mouth ones. Love them. But then these, I'll leave a link down below. But these are kind of a middle of the line. And then I also have really, really tiny ones that even have covers. So you can see, you might not be able to see, but sometimes the way I store them, sometimes they touch other ones of other colors. And even though the ink gets on the bristles, it's not going to transfer to my project, but it's just not pretty. So I have these tiny little black ones that have these little covers that keep them all nice and neat. Really love that. So I glued those photos down, not realizing that I think I want to add some lemonade shimmer brush to these. So I have my lemonade. I've shaken it really well. I'm just going to pull that lid off, squeeze some down onto my mat. There we go. I've been neglecting it. Just going to add just a few sprinkles. Let me show you that shimmer. I love our shimmer brushes. They come in all different colors. And they also come in clear. And I see where my black got all over my lemonade. So they don't fly well. So I taught at convention a couple of years ago when we had in-person conventions with Close to My Heart. And I brought my shimmer brush along. And it did not do well. Neither did my journaling pen. So, lesson learned. Okay, so I've got that one. Since I've gone ahead and glued down my photos, I always leave just a little space around the edge so I can tuck things in. Just kind of helps with dimension when you have things in between and on top of. And so I've just cut those down to size, and I'll do the rest like that as well. And then I'm going to dovetail the ends. The sketch does not call for dovetails, but I think it's just a fun added detail. And then of course I've got my sponges over here from sponging all the edges that I can just use the residual ink that's on those to just kind of clean up these fresh cut ends. So I've pulled out the sticker sheet, and right away I think I want to use the Precious Memories. I am going to use my anti-static pouch to take off the sticky of most of these until I can figure out where I want to put them. And then right here I think I want to use this little tab. I will not take the sticky off of it though. And I want it to kind of go across both of those. I hate that you really can't tell it's a tab, but it's so big if I do. So I'm going to push that down, do it over just a little bit. And I think that might be where my date goes. Something's looking crooked, but it'll just have to be. So I think I want this and a grouping down here. I also want some floral pieces. There's not a whole lot of flowers on this, believe it or not, even though it's spring. There's just not a whole lot. So I might have to bring in either a stamp set or something like that. Or I guess I could use little bitty ones. Lovely, grow, sunshine, laugh, play, love, that doesn't really describe this at all. I think I'd rather have that one right there. Happy moments. Together. I'm going to put this one in the yellow, the lemonade part, and then so I might actually use this kind of like an anchor, kind of like that. I didn't press that down in case I want to remove it. It'll be easier to remove. That's a little too light for my liking. So let me pull out some embellishments. So I've decided to move Precious Memories up there, I think. And then down here, I'm thinking, even though it's pink on pink, I like the Love You. And that would mean that all my photos are surrounded by the pink, which is Flamingo. Or I don't really want to use, I mean, I guess I could do Hello Spring. It's really not what this layout's about. But I kind of like that contrast. So yellow, and then it brings the yellow back in. So I'm going to go ahead and take the adhesive off of that just in case. I've brought in some acrylic hearts. I think I want to stick with the yellow. So I could do that one, and then there's actual like little loose hearts I could sprinkle here and there. Where's this at? Okay, so let me put some 3D foam tape on the back of here and we can see how it looks. So it's growing on me, kinda, sorta, it's growing. And then, I don't know if these are kinda not the same color as avocado. So I love that there's 3 shades of green, but sometimes I just wish they would like really match. But I'm liking the idea of using these because these acrylic ones are so dimensional. But our dots, we have reformulated to where they're really flat, and so it makes it really easy to use on cards and even layouts and not add a whole bunch of bulk. So it seems really plain to me. So I'm going to try a couple of things. First, I'm going to just ink up my base and see if that kind of fixes it. If it doesn't, then I'm thinking I'm going to cut just some off 2 of the edges. I can't do all 4 because my photos are pretty close to the bottom here, and then this sticker is on 3D foam tape over here. But I can do the top and the right side and then mat it. Yeah, so that didn't do much. So I think that's what I am going to do right quick. So here's what I was talking about. Can't really in the bottom because my photo is really close, and this one's 3D foam tape and this one's 3D foam tape. So if I can work from the top and the edge, then it would be better. So if I take 1/4 of an inch off, then that will leave about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So the top and the right side, and it'll still make it where these avocado strips are still some distance from the edges. I'm going to go ahead and do that same ink treatment to the top and the side. I pulled out the coordinating cardstock for spring, and that's going to make it really easy to decide which one. So right away, I'm kind of looking at the avocado or the pink. I don't think the yellow, maybe the ballerina. And I really don't think the capri is gonna work. So this is going to be really easy. Now usually this is where I try these out, I pick one, and then when I go to edit the video, I find a new favorite. So I'm really liking the ballerina. It's subtle. It matches these largest dots. Okay, so let's see how the flamingo looks. Well, it's not bad. It's just a different look. It just brings out something different. And then let's see the avocado. I think I'm really going to go back to the ballerina, but yeah, I mean, the only reason I might throw in the avocado is because green is my mom's favorite color. But nope, I think I'm going to go with the ballerina. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is for my title, I am using the Irresistibles. Can you see that kind of pattern on there? So what this is that you actually, when you add ink to these, the ink does not stick to the shiny part. And so I am going to, instead of using tape, I am just going to kind of mask these letters off right here. And I will actually use my removable tape to tape this to my glass board. And then you just add ink over the top of them, much like you do stencils. And I'm just going to spell out Easter and then probably add that date later on. And I believe this is where I'm going to pull in that capri color. I'm going to use one of my blending brushes, not the sponge. And so you see how it colors it. But then once I'm done, I'll take a paper towel and I'll just wipe down or wipe over these letters, and that little white gloss will just show a little bit more. We also have just regular cardstock, so you can actually cut it to any shape, whether that be a basic shape with your paper trimmer or even a like a die cut, a metal die. And then let's bring this layout back in. And let's place the letters. Nothing says Easter like polka dots, right? And so did you see how that resisted? So I love that. Easter, and then I will probably find out the date and I'll either stamp it right there or something. But there is that. And then I have done another layout. Remember, I was going to do 2-page layouts. I have done another layout, just not on camera. So let me bring that out right quick. So this sketch is by Nikki Rowland. Again, I kind of mentioned the sun rays, and that's kind of why I did it on the other one. I did not do it on this one, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, even though these are still photos of my dad and my sister and I, they're totally unrelated. But if you are one of those people who haven't really gotten into one-page scrapbook layouts, and, you know, for the sole purpose of, hey, what page or what layout's going to face it, this would be the perfect example. So I've used the same paper collection. I've used the same elements, the embellishments, the dots. I've used the same colors. They're just slightly different, again, because they're totally different occasions. Like these are all from Easter, and these are definitely close in age, but not perfect. I also don't have a whole lot of information on these. Again, I'm going to ask my mom if she remembers, but I still use the stickers from the Four Seasons Spring. I separated, this was a square, I separated them, and then I'll just do minimal journaling right here, and then maybe add my date right here. And then of course I did not do the ballerina cardstock frame. Instead I used our new gel pens. So it's got a shimmer. I still used the Lemonade shimmer brush for splatter, and then I just kind of doodled, added little dots around the sticker groupings. Again, just to kind of keep in line with the same elements that were on this page. I did bring over, even though I don't have a title on this page, I did bring over the pops of Capri. So if these are side by side, which they will be in my album, they still look almost like a 2-page layout, if that makes sense. So again, I will leave links down below to everything that I used. And thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please leave a comment and a thumbs up. And yeah, share with your friends. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit the notification button. I will be playing along the rest of October with the 30 Days of Sketches, and I'll leave a link down to the playlist because there have been girls and guys who have been playing along all month. It's just October's been really busy for me, and so I'm trying to play catch up, and that's another reason why I'm combining sketches. So check out that playlist, check out the links below, and again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Have a great week.